Kevlars on the Astralis side, on the CT side. In fact, there are 10 Kevlars on the server. The odd decoy here and there. $50 perhaps down the drain on that one. Though you can kill someone with a decoy explosion, let alone collision. But enough about nerdy decoys. The T's moving towards the A site. Device and Dupree backing off and haven't quite spotted these terrors making their way to their area.
And Device at the ready with the USP. Some info. He hasn't got too many teammates here, and you hate to see that one. Just getting tagged straight away in the head. 10 HP, can't take any more engagements. One bullet and he's done. Has to let his teammates do a bit of work here, free him up a bit. Kirby could be the one here coming in from the flank, able to take down the player planting the bomb just in the nick of time there. The bomb has to be collected, and the plant attempt has to come in once more. A lot of stress here for Immortals.
Yeah, but there's stress for Astralis as well, because they are 2 men down at this point. The bomb finally planted. There's lots of time to do so as well. Not so much pressure for that to happen, and all the pressure is on the shoulders of Kirby. This round is no time aside for the man. MG tagged, but again, the numbers game is just too great, and they'll let one person peek, and that'll be Bolts, and he will do the job. So Immortals off to a good start, and that's going to be the hype train started straight away. Pretty much every member of that team is the Flavor Flav. They're all hype men screaming at their area, and the way the setup is in the studio segment, there is I don't know, maybe 5 meters separating the two teams, so that screaming may be heard. There may be even vibrations.
And one thing this is, well, one of the reasons why this obviously is incredibly good for Immortals is to get this pistol round under their belt. Obviously, they need to be able to convert this next round, which could feature a force buy from Astralis. I think that is what they're actually going to be going for. At least I can see that. We see a scout on the device there as we have this technical pause on the way. But one thing that Astralis are really good on their gun rounds with is that aggression. Again, Kirby will get himself towards that bench position around the fountain, and he'll have some cover with him, and they'll play rifles around. Their device will be up there as well, helping out, and they can often do a lot of damage from these positions. So this is something that, again, Astralis, they've played so many high-profile over past games, and really shown pretty much the full variety of what they're capable of doing. So there is ample information out there as to how they play. But the question is, once again, even if you know what they're doing, are you going to be able to best them in the fundamentals of Counter-Strike to actually capitalize? That's really the question of this matchup here, and we'll see whether now Immortals can deal with these pistols and the scout device.
Nice tag from Device to get things underway. And Immortals, I mean, we've seen a number of situations in rounds such as this, the second round, where there is a scout in play, where the scout does enough maiming that the pistols finish things off later on. So you saw a Device was, he was a lone ranger there, making his way up with the scout, doing some initial damage, which there's a fair chance that'll get finished off later on. Astralis playing in the sites again. When the map was new, many eco rounds, or force buys rather, from CT sites, they just stayed in sites, although Astralis now on the move towards Connector. I think they're going to boost outside Connector, looking into the window. And there's another tag. Yeah, I think if there are 3 tags before an Astralis player is picked off, I would almost favour Astralis to win the round.
And this in the past has been an issue for Immortals. If there's a scout on the map like this, the worst possible thing is to allow Device to just have free reign like this. You kind of want to group up, you want to use your utility, you want to prevent the scout from being able to get these picks because, okay, no kills just yet, but 2 tags, he can very well get another one, and those deagles in his pistols start to become incredibly deadly. Just one shot and you can get a kill off those things. Device, he's still alive at the moment, although these players are coming in. Another tag, so he's done a lot for his team here, but can they close down these weakened players? Yeah, this is huge damage. Glaive with a 2k. The numbers slightly in favour of Immortals, and now it's much better. Zipex alone has a 5-7. Bolts is still cool off, and Henny really needs to wait for his teammate to come and join him. The time, though, that was really awkward. 7 seconds on the clock, but they make it work. And there's a very weird science around those rounds where there's a scout and the scout starts to tag people, because so often when we commentate these matches, we see the team with the guns just play slow, and the tags continue and continue. Yep. And I really feel like that weird vacuum, needs to be looked at, in how
how you approach with like an anti-scout strategy, in fact, when that kind of thing is going on, and it's got to be map dependent as well.
Yeah, and it can be a double-edged sword to use smoke grenades in some respects, because then the pistols, if they're close, they can actually play around the smokes pretty effectively, and it can get a bit awkward. But we'll see.
3-man boost.
Yeah, a cheeky 3-man boost, just with the USPs here, just no buy whatsoever. Of course, from Astralis, they need this full save to buy in the next round, but one argument is, a lot of teams, they just say, you know what, we're just going to go monster tunnel. Use some nades. If they have a scout, there's nothing that they can really do, and we'll have the bomb down. So they eliminate a lot of variables that way. But Immortals, again, very passive here, and they just don't want to take any risks so far, and all they have really is one man, which is Steel, moving down through connector, and that can be dangerous when there's a lot of pistols on the server, because they'll often congregate around these close quarters, and Steels alone could give up an AK-47 potentially. He's the guy with the only grenades on the team, so definitely a risk, and Astralis are going to rotate here.
In that respect, we have seen some development with the approach of T's on the anti-eco through connector, where they'll come in towards the upper area at the same time, and it makes life very strangling for the side. Got to be careful now. The bomb's been spotted for the CTs, and now the bomb has been lost. KNG simply hanging around too long. Like, why is he there that long on his own with the bomb? There are 30 seconds left. Fortunately, some more CTs have been picked off, so it should be salvageable, but they really need to get that bomb quickly. Kyabi's got an AK, Lucas getting picked off, and Henny has finally rescued it, but it's unnecessary errors like that which can be the difference between winning and losing. Like, you don't need to stand there and kill every single player, when if you die, there are colossal problems for your team.
That's very true. And I mean, if Kyabi even just saves this AK, that is really huge. Into the next round, you're going to save yourself, obviously, the 2,700, well, even more than that, because if you buy up an M4, you're going to be spending 3,100 there. So really nice for Kyabi to save that additional money. It means more grenades, perhaps later on.
The AK can make the difference, though.
That's very true.
M4, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Two players shoot each other in the head. If you're first with the CTs and you have an AK instead of an M4, then that might be the round. And
also with Kyabi, again, as I mentioned previously, he's often going to be, if they go for an aggressive play towards the fountain on the A side of the map, he's going to be the guy that's going to poke towards the bench. So he's going to be the guy that will get flashed in, to try to make that play. So at least that's typically how it has been in the past. I'm not sure if they've mixed it up for this major. As mentioned, they have taken a tournament off to prepare for this major, so there could be quite some changes, as it's once you're on the top, everybody's looking at you, everyone's got all that data on you and how you play. You got to be able to mix it up. Being on top is hard.
So it's buy time, the buy round, they're all important, and for me it's all eyes on Immortals. I'm going to have a personal focus on Immortals because I do feel like they are the underdog, so I'll leave you to focus on Astralis. That doesn't mean I'm concentrating one half of the match, but I'm interested to see what they can do. Astralis with a very fast takeoff B. The flashbang is perfect. There's a 2K from them. That is a very strong start to the round. Immortals immediately almost completely disabled. 5 versus 3 with a minute 30 on the clock. Not the start they wanted.
And again, it's something that Astralis are good at. They'll take an aggression, a quick aggression. They'll find the best ways to make it safe with utility, and then they'll get straight out of there. And sometimes they do it in a way in which they may not get frags from it, but the opponents will feel the pressure, and they'll have to invest utility and then taking that part of the map away. Because you might see Astralis pushing, making sure their opponent knows about it, then they'll fall back before they even take an engagement, just to create questions, just to burn utility for the Ts. And it's the philosophy of playing aggressively to play passively, effectively, essentially. That's the ethos there.
For those of you in GoTV, on the CT side, I would recommend Device, because he's kind of like the Shang Tsung of Warpers at this point. He's kind of absorbed the souls of everybody else and tried to make himself an amalgamation of all of them. On the T side, Dan, who would you opt for?
Oh, to watch?
Yes.
On the T side?
Yes.
Pretty good Bolts, actually, although he's the IGL.
Yeah, I was between Henny and Bolts, but I thought I'd leave it to you. Anyway, Immortals pushing with what remains of them onto the B bomb site, and they might just get a chance to plant the bomb. Dupree picked off by Henny as well. Henny, a wild AWPer, and he delivers the kills, and so does KNG. Well, Niso on this occasion can't quite do it. Though, do they realise where Henny is? There are 2 angles you can play around the barrel position, and it will be Henny missing the first shot, gets the fast shot off the Device, tries to fake with a pistol, not quite going to work out, and now he needs to save. Astralis win a round.
Yeah, and it's obviously a very important round to win for Astralis, that first buy round. Obviously, previously, Kirby had saved the AK, picked up a couple kills with it, and actually built up quite a lot of money there, saved the AWP for his team. And here's that aggression we saw towards the tunnel, basically blowing up the attempt to take over sewers from the Immortals. And that's not only 2 kills, but it's also, it forces the T side to be in a position where it's like, okay, whatever plan we had in this round, we've got to now make a new one on the fly to try to win this round. They did a good job trying to get that round 1. Got a bomb down and everything, got some kills, got some damage in there. Very valiant attempt for Immortals, and now here is their opportunity to potentially put pressure on the wound.
Throwing fire. Flashbang. Laying down smoke.
Dupree and Kiabi fishing towards long. I'm not quite getting anything, but again, that kind of presence will force Immortals' slow approach to this round to continue to be slow. There's a minute 10 on the clock, so we'll see how long it takes them to, for example, get towards the toilets position. Because Lucas, Henny, KNG haven't really moved just yet.
And look, this is exactly what I was talking about. You can see that Astralis had like a 4-player investment, and it kind of looks like they're going to be aggressive. The T's feel the aggression, but then they fall all the way back without really taking any proper engagements for kills, and they completely change the setup. It's hard to read, and Boss doesn't care about reading it. He's just going to go for an entry play. Doesn't work out. Now Immortals are down to 4 men, and Astralis are really in control of this round so far, but there's still a salvageable situation with 35 seconds remaining.
It's taken them 35 seconds to make their way towards the toilets as well, Immortals. So Astralis bought themselves a lot of time, and now they're all passing Kiabi. And I don't think anyone's going to check this position, so if his teammates can implement the lane tactics, killing is a good one from the back, and Kiabi can come in from the back and completely shut this round down.
Man, honestly, Astralis, they are so good on this. But this is again why the desk was so kind of dumbfounded by the choice here for Immortals to go to overpass. I think, again, this is very early days, but that's a round which can show you how dynamic the entire team can be, because they have these aggressions. They've got, you know, situations also where when Device first picked up the AWP in the previous round, he's playing on B, and this is the thing with Device. You kind of usually expect him to maybe be anchoring around A long, but he actually just moves all over the place. It's very hard to predict where he's going to be, so to counter him, you can't really do it very effectively because it's so unpredictable. And here he goes. Oh, it's got a wealth of targets to go for. It's like a kid in a candy shop. Which one do I pick? And now Kirby's there to cover him as well. It's a massacre, James.
It is a massacre indeed. It is a tombola of heads rolling out one by one, almost at random. 4 versus 2 at this point. Kiabi's done his job, and Dupree is there. He's got flashbang support from a teammate as well. Now grenades are flying in. He does not fan of balloons. There go the balloons. He gets tagged down to 1 HP. Nothing going the way of Immortals at the moment. 1 HP. Just one more. Could have been great, but it wasn't enough. I know there are some people at home who will get that 99 damage, and the next round they'll paste it in chat. 99 damage. Nobody cares. You've got to kill. If you don't kill, doesn't matter if it was 99, 97. Nobody gives a crap.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how Immortals will sort of survey the situation, because in the UNTV we saw that there's been preparation here for Immortals, a lot of preparation. Of course it's the major, of course there has been, but it's specifically for this team and map. So I'd wonder if they will just go to like fast B plays, and because that's a great solution. If it's hard to predict a team, if they're taking too much map control away from you, just hit those right B set pieces with good timing, and you can kind of give yourself the right advantages to at least harm their economy, because this is the danger. If Astralis get too strong of an economy, then it's like a snowball effect.
The only time people do care actually is if you like shoot someone with an AWP through a wall and it does 5 in 1. But still, it's not reasonable to paste it in chat. Just don't do it. Kirby around the toilets once again, but he's repositioned towards the long area, and KNJ is on the search, but he won't quite go all the way. I don't know if sound cues are being made. I spotted some jumping, so the alarm can be raised, but Glade's on his own for the time being. As far as though, they have faith in their teammate. He Molotovs the T's from a position to allow him to peek, and he lands himself a nice headshot. And there it is, Kiabi rearing his ugly head again. The Grim Reaper whipping out the sides. Device steals a kill away from him, but ultimately goes away with Astralis. 2 versus 1. It's not over just yet. This is winnable for Bolts. Bombs on the floor. Molly towards bank. Dupree, though, he's coming in from the back. 2 bursts from Dupree, patient shooting from the man. Cool heads on Astralis, good for their 4th round in a row.
Yeah, it's actually not often you see buy rounds where every single player gets 1 frag each on the CT side like that, but we saw it there. And interestingly, of course, Kirby was able to actually get another flank play. That's the 2nd time that he's able to catch the push off guard in that way. So that's something that Immortals have to think about in the future when they run rounds like that. But now they're down to a very poor economy, and as I said, you know, it really gets dangerous if Astralis win too many clean rounds, and this could really be the start of that. We'll have to see if Immortals can get some cheeky shots off. They do have a Deagle in play, a couple Tech 9s, some grenades too to work with, so they can run some cute tactics to try to get a couple kills here, but the bomb plant will be incredibly difficult as the other potential objective that they could have.
I love to see CTs getting aggressive around the short B position. So strong to hold this area. But Dupree, he may need some cover. Dupree don't need nothing! 2-man spray down from him. Get out of my sight. Get out of my area. Lucas and KNG, I mean, look, let's not get too excited. They've only got pistols, but it was quite pretty, Dan. It was pretty, very pretty indeed.
Purdy.
He's got the watercolors out and he's painting quite the picture. Mostly Crimson, of course.
And Immortals have not been able to find damage. Indeed, that was a great opportunity. I thought he was dead for sure. I mean, we knew about the players in door there, and but that's that spray, man. He believed. He's like, please repeat into this, because I'm not going to let go until I run out of bullets. Please
get out of my sight.
It's a great start after the initial pistol round loss here for Astralis. And one thing that we haven't seen just yet is that one play that I mentioned where we see, you know, the flash over for, or in some instances actually, if the other team is afraid of a device AWPing. Ooh, nice frag there from Lucas. Picks up a gun actually to hold that for a moment. But yeah, if the other team is afraid that device is AWPing from the party area and they won't rush players into a fast timing, into that angle that you would be holding from there, that actually allows Kirby again to move onto the bench past the fountain. So I'm waiting for that play from Astralis. It hasn't been shown yet.
Can I just note, at the end of that round, the closest person to the AWP who was carrying an AK rescued the AWP, and a 2nd player ran behind that player to rescue his AK as well, which is really awesome. That is just great to see.
It's all about the small things.
It is in.
Although, well
most of the time.
That's a pretty big thing, to be honest.
Immortals took a tactical timeout, which has now expired. It has concluded. It has come to a close, to an end, and the game will resume.
The conclusion. Just combined 2 words there. I'm a wordsmith, James.
A what? What did you
conclusion
say?
and a close. I just combined both those words together. Conclusion. There we go. It's just.
Look at this spray. It's not nice. It's nice.
Oh, he got a pat on the back, James. He deserved it. He deserved that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And Device may feel like he deserves another kill, but he may have to wait for it. Again, short B. Oh, they're doing more than that. Kirby and Dupree, they've got somewhere to be. They're on a push. We haven't seen this since the days of CLG with Mr. I'm a Pet, now long gone. Nice early pick from Dupree.
That's amazing. That's like this early opening is like a default buster. That's almost like what I want to call it there, because often in the defaults you're going to have a player like lurking on the outside of the maps. Obviously you get Device puts that first bit of pressure there onto the party area, slows things down, so that allows Astralis to have more players towards B at the start of the round, so they can do that aggressive play. It's really, again, it's beautiful counter-strike from Astralis so far.
There's a nice boost for people at home to employ when you see those CT smokes go down. And to me, it almost feels like Astralis are trying to put Immortals in the most uncomfortable positions possible. It's like, we're going to take this away from you, which you expect, and now you need to try and cope in this situation, which may be very difficult for you to deal with. And Astralis are trying to exploit that, but Device will get picked off. 35 seconds remain, and all of Immortals are here, but Zipex is starting to flank.
Yeah, it's a great entry there from Immortals. They have won a duel, very important. And now the bomb can go down, but once again, Kirby! Usually it's from toilets, but this time he just walked through the smoke there on the long. Got himself only 1 frag this time, but it may be enough. We'll see Glaive picking up 1, but Kyunji were able to hold down the flank for the time being. And this is looking great now for Immortals. There's been a dry spell. Can it be saved here? Oh, missing a shot is Henny. Enclave will save the day. Oh, what a steal there. Immortals, he gutted about that one. They had a great chance. They did well to get into that position, but you can see the smiles there, the elation across the faces of the Danish players there of Astralis.
That was really unlucky timing, I have to say, for Immortals in that 1 versus 2, because when Glaive peeks, he sees complete information immediately. His line of sight, he has a player towards the toilets facing him, and he can see the arm of Henny as well. And he knows Henny doesn't have the angle, so as soon as he kills the first player, Henny misses the crucial shot, then he goes back to the well and finishes things off there. So perfect for Glaive, and he's pretty happy with that. Look at those veins pulsating out his neck, that pulsating.
Popping.
6 in a row for Astralis.
This is a very fast play here from Immortals into sewers. Oh, and this could have caught Device off guard, but you can see that he's able to actually fall back here, straight through the Molotov. And a nice headshot there. A fadeaway as he falls back into safety. Has taken some damage from the flames, but overall, of course, Astralis will be happy with this.
Ooh! Close, but not quite. Some more wall banging going on, and there's a boost for the T's as well, and that one will yield some results. And they've got Lucas making his way through Monster, so the short players can run distraction. But Zipex, he's in his usual position. He's so strong from here, but he's looking the wrong way. But Lucas can't quite get the shot, and now it's all been revealed. A dastardly plan. The villains, their plan is known, but can the heroes stop them?
Yeah, it's so important to have a player like Lucas there, just going for the play. So, alright, just going to make something happen right now. Gets that positioning, finds out that he can get his team in onto a bomb plant. Smokes all over the place, making Zipex's life a bit awkward, but he knows he just has to delay and hold on to this forward position. Whoa, what on earth was that? Henny takes out both Zipex and Glaive. Now Device trying to respond here, whiffs the shot. You can't be doing that though. And now Kirby, he's just going to inspect his weapons. Not really much else to do in this situation, waiting by the door at the moment. A 1 versus 4, not really something that he can realistically expect to win.
Yeah, and despite 6 in a row, they don't really have the money to try and take as many weapons away as possible. He could really do with saving this one for his team. So indeed, the villains will prevail in this situation. Villains because they're T's, not because they are from Bulgaria. 4th round on the board for Immortals, finally, after 6 from Astralis. So let's see, 3 players survive for Immortals, so they can spread the wealth and buy grenades as well. In situations like that, you definitely don't want to be surviving with only 1 player, just as the CTs did. So opportunity knocks for Immortals. They could break Astralis in this round.
Yeah, and again, I really like this. That's an insane double right there. Again, it's just like, how do you... It's just ridiculous. Nice. Beautiful stuff from Henny. Unexpected frag, but one he will be happy with. And it is something that, you know, I was looking for with Immortals, like that, those B plays. I really wondered how they would handle that. And I love that they were confident to go brute force in. I have no idea how Lucas found that one. I think it's through the smoke, perhaps. Or no, actually around the side. Device perhaps out there for a bit too long. So we're crediting him for not overextending or being a player that characteristically doesn't tend to overextend. But there, you can see that it was abused. He was abused, and now he's on the bench for this round.
On the bench. Zipex alone towards the A site. Kiabi and Gabe with a connector play. Bolts rotating away from the B-lurk, it seems, just in case there's a flank for the CTs. There have been so many. So now the T's watching their backs all over the place. Lucas picked off, but so has been Zipex in the trays. KNG moving through the bank position. He's got a nice angle on Dupree, but will he stay on it? He's got 2 places to look at, and he continues to push forward, and that might end up being a problem. But it seems he has found somewhere to settle. And the CTs will slowly move away. Bolt searching for some kills towards T-spawn, and Kirby, you can see he's set up already with his angle to allow his teammates to come to his position. Also important, whether he won that duel or not, is that he wasn't just standing there holding the angle 100% of the time. He's crouching and looking every few seconds, and that can really make a difference. That grenade sucks, yes, but it can make a difference, and it's something to learn at home. I think a lot of people at home will just, if you're holding an angle, just stand there the whole time, but if you just go behind the wall, come back out again, can make a hell of a difference. Something to keep an eye on when you watch these players in GoTV.
This is a great comeback for Immortals. It's just like finding the right rounds to win here, to not allow ASTRALIS' economy to get out of control, and also just obviously the right aggressions. And Immortals have to, and I know they are a team that are going to be like always, brimming with confidence and not afraid to try to brute force it. And they've got a lot of firepower on their team, and it's very important that ASTRALIS don't condition them to fear the CT setups too much, because if that does happen, because sometimes you need to take that aim battle, which is going to be, let's say 30%, you're going to be expected to win that. Perhaps sometimes you have to take those fights, and you can't really be conditioned out of that. You shouldn't be conditioned out of that, and this is what we're seeing, I think, in some sense from Immortals. They're just going to brute force their way in, just like B. There's flames all over the place. I think 3 players were heavily tagged just moving into position without a frag, but they still managed to convert the round because they were confident to brute force. They know they had to get that element of map control, and then they've made the play, get their first entry, and then it just starts to go well from that point forward. So really cool to see this level of confidence from Immortals. In that preparation that they've done clearly shines through in that sense.
4 Ts towards the B bomb site. Again, you do see this from G2 as well, but I don't know that we saw it in the previous match, but there's lots more Counter-Strike to come, and that is indeed, well, what has it done? It's a bad miss.
Bad miss.
Well, we may see a hasty play from Immortals on this occasion. Steel is making sure that Bolts doesn't get flanked through Connector by just sitting in Connector and holding an angle on the door. And again, for those of you at home, if you've got a player going into short B, make sure you've got a T holding that angle so he does not get pinched. KNG making his way through Monster, but Bolts will steal the second kill. Device is here, but he needs help.
Yeah, and he's going to get naded into Oblivion, or if not into Oblivion, into just a desperate situation, as he hasn't really got any space to work with, can't really do anything with it whilst those nades are active. And indeed, it's going to be a save from ASTRALIS. They decide that this is not worth the effort. They should rather take care of their economy and keep those guns, and I certainly agree with that one. Immortals themselves, they're only just starting to build their economy. They're looking pretty good here because they've only lost 1 player in this round. So Immortals decided to take some serious control and momentum of this game, and for me, this matchup is all about how Immortals are able to deal with the CT side of ASTRALIS. I feel as though if Immortals have a great start here, if they are able to get to the 7-8 rounds mark, I feel like they have a very strong chance to be able to win this map against ASTRALIS. So it's looking good for the Brazilians, I would say, so far.
6-6. Here's the score. But the ASTRALIS, they've saved enough to have an impact on this round. By no means is this round over. Glaive's got 47.50 in the bank, so he can drop indeed. They'll buy around what they have. Would you expect anything less from the Danes? AWPs continue for both sides, and Device has got the best spawn possible to go for a peek. Somehow Kiabi's got in front of him though, so maybe it's not the best spawn possible. But indeed the peek will be there. Oh, he's missed a jump onto the bench, but he'll have a peek anyway. But players have passed already, so we've got these support set up, and I think Device will peek the balloon area from the toilets, and Kiabi will stand there and be a trade frag. I know Device has gone all the way back, so let's see how Kiabi deals with that position. With a raw peak, why not? The smoke is still there, and he will eventually start to back up, but he's got no support to help him do that. Indeed, there's the back of Glaive, there's the support, but KNG's going to go straight through, traded, but that will favour the T's.
Glaive unable to save his teammate, but he did what he could, and indeed got the trade. And taking a forward position here by the bench it's quite a strong one. Especially if you can get those forward smokes down, it can be quite annoying for the T's to deal with. At the moment, ASTRALIS obviously in this 4 versus 4, they don't have a huge amount of grenades left, but it's enough really to allow them to go for a retake play onto the B, and they are playing retake B at the moment. They've got just 1 player on that bomb site so far. It's Glaive, and he's in a fairly passive position, so he can try to buy time unless he gets caught off guard, and that could happen. All the players from Immortals starting to burst out of the monster tunnel. How much can Dupree do? There's one. We've seen him do incredulous things from that position, and it's looking good for the Danes.
Bolts and Dupree exchange places in the smoke, but they know that Dupree has disappeared. Bolts looking for him around the smoke. The continuation spray from Dupree. Bolts runs straight back into it. 10 seconds for this bomb to go down, and Lucas is alone. A desperate situation. The CTs are too close, and the round is over. ASTRALIS are back in the lead. 3 players survive for them as well, which is a big boost for the CT side. And one thing I didn't get to talk about in that round, when Kiabi's position was by that wall and the smoke was down, Device can stand in the middle of toilets and hold an angle and basically bait for his teammate while that smoke is down. But later on he repositions towards the site and he's got Glaive by the toilet door on the off angle, the blind spot essentially, and then again Device is the initial peeker. So another bait and switch set up from Astralis, which we may see in a future round. But for now, Immortals are back on the buy, 7-6 for Astralis. But of course Device is forward around the smoke once again.
Yeah, that he is, and it's a very fast round here from Immortals, and I think this is what the Doctor ordered. I mean, it's one way you can try to get ahead of some of these aggressions that Astralis will run. Just go super fast yourself, and if Astralis guess wrong with their early round play, you're going to catch them on a rotation. That's exactly what's happening right now, but Immortals have to go in right now. The push is coming in. The spray down from Dupree is absolutely on point, and it just leaves 2 members for Immortals to try to salvage this one. And the bomb is in no man's land, and looks like the Danes have blood on their mind as they go in for the kills.
Yeah, but they are subject to them as well. Down to the 2-1-2. Bolts on short B with the bomb. He can collect it, but he's going for some entries. Or some kills, rather. The entries have come and gone already. He's left a bomb there, and his teammates dropped in the meantime, leaving him in a 1 versus 2. He's got to be sharp. Glaive wishes he had an AK in that situation. Kiabi repositioning. If Kiabi runs outside the toilet area, Bolts... I think it might be too far away to hear him from that position, but Kiabi knows he can be heard in D from where he is, so he'll have to walk. And he's preying on the fact that Bolts knows Kiabi can come from a number of different positions. So what does Bolts do in this situation? Ooh, he's going to give the sound cues away, and Kiabi's there. He's by Optimus, and he will be transforming Bolts from alive to dead. And there it is, 8-6 in favour of Astralis. 1 round remains in the first half.
That's a pretty cool clutch there. I mean, there to me, it's kind of a battle of... I don't want to say nerves necessarily, but it's a confidence thing. Like, Kirby's just like, I'm so confident that in my play here that I'm just going to walk all the way. And I'm happy that if I have to retake the B-bomb site, that's fine. And you get a situation there where, of course, his opponent was like, oh god, I'm just going to go for the run. And obviously, if your opponent did choose to just wait in on the A-bomb site, you're dead 100% of the time. So it's really well played there by Kirby. And now it's the last round of the first half. Astralis looking to make it a 9-6. Glaive this time peering over the smoke from the party position. Oh dear, he's trapped. Just about manages to escape in the end, and in fact it's Fox who will be the first to go down. KNG not far behind, still getting 1 kill, but this is a pretty fast moving round at this point. Lucas just waiting in the playground of the bomb, and all the CTs start to go straight back to their respective sites. Tipex being trusted for the time being. We've got the B-bomb site. Kiabi's there if needed, but not quite just yet. Oh, Henning, he had to land that. Swiping in the smoke, but there's nobody there. No answer, no response. It's a bit ridiculous, James. What is this? Oh dear. Bit awkward. And Device takes his position back.
They're dancing in the dark, and it's clumsy.
Okay, try number 2 perhaps. In comes Henny. And will he see Device? This is just so strange. Device gets it.
But you weren't expecting that.
I don't even know like the level of mind games there. It's just like, what do you? Just how do you prepare for that?
Oh, the timing! Man, yeah. Unreal. The timing in Counter-Strike is always quite something there. It's a 4 versus 1. Ultimately, it's a 4 versus 1. Now it's a 3 versus 1, and Device is heavily tagged. He's had some fun around this area. Again, we've got that bait situation. He knows Device is there, but his teammate is ready. The coordination from Astralis is sharp. It's very sharp indeed. It's glorious. It's shiny. It's on a shelf, in a shop window. It's great done. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And I think one thing, obviously, we can notice that Device did have a struggle here or there to hit some of the shots which you'd normally expect him to hit. So, let's see if his team will lift him up, as they seem to be doing a pretty good job at the moment. Immortals, though, as I said, I feel like 6 rounds is so very workable for them. I think that CT side of Astralis is the most scary thing, I would say, to be up against. Also, if you start the map that way, it's one thing, you know, going against it on the second half, but if you start that way, what if they do have a really crazy CT side, which they have often had in the past, and get like a 12-3 scoreline on you? Then it's really hard.
Steel went 2 for 11 in that half. He's having a bit of a mare, as we might say in London. A nightmare.
London.
He's having a bit of a mare, mate. A bit of a mare. Quarter chips, please. 9-6. Indeed, they've got a fighting chance. Dan. D-A-N, Dan. Don.
As opposed to what, Dan? Why else would you spell that? Why was the specification required?
Don't know, man.
Specifically,
the flow of
D-A-N.
consciousness. It's a flow of consciousness that requires the spelling of that particular three-letter word or name, if you will. The match is it's about to get underway. So we have 4 Kevlars on the Astralis team. Glaive has not purchased quite yet. Steel will have a defuse kit and 2 flashes. And Glaive indeed will be the grenade man on his team as well. 13 kills for Glaive. Really good. He's top fragging along with Kirby as the in-game leader. And there was a time back in Carrigan's reign on Astralis when he would be doing the same. But it is in the hands of Glaive now. He's in the driving seat. All aboard. Grenade is being deployed. Smoke and a flash for Glaive later on. Zipex lurking outside the B bomb site while 3 players try to do work on it.
Oh dear, very scary situation. Lots of Glocks jumping in your face. Never a good look.
In your face.
And now we got a 5 versus 4 here for Astralis. And one of the great things here is, you know, they've closed the distance somewhat. The thing is that this last kind of 100 meters, well, not necessarily 100 meters, but this last little dash towards the A-bomb site on long is really problematic. So I like that they're just deciding, okay, you know what, maybe there's a response from Immortals that's double back into more close quarter engagements, which they can find towards B. And that said, though, Immortals have a nice setup, ready and waiting for them.
Oh, they are quite peppering, but haven't really found the stake. Immortals got themselves 1 kill, and now the numbers are dwindling for both sides. And now we see the bedlam, the anarchy of a pistol round, the variance, the back and forth. Immortals with 2 players, and the T's all over the place. The bomber tent hasn't come in yet from Astralis. Do wonder if they were considering a rotation. Either way, the kills will come in for the Danish team, and they make it to double figures.
I felt like there weren't many headshots in that pistol round. I feel like there's a lot of...
There weren't as many as you would normally find, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
indeed.
It's pistol rounds, pistol rounds.
10 to 6. We've got 4 UMPs on Astralis. It's pretty interesting stuff there. The Mac 10 on Dupree, so that means Dupree is going to get the information for the team. He's going to be the expendable player. He's going to try to find out where these force buying players of Immortals are lurking, so his teammates can avoid those areas.
Ooh, Kirby getting the ding, but not the dong. Just the bell rung once. There's some more bells being run on the overhead train track. Warning signs. Don't throw your grenades because they will be block Pistol spam will, well, it's Lucas actually to go down to half health, but we are waiting for the eventual push from Astralis. And he's coming in from the short B position. So far, so good. Never mind. That changes very quickly indeed and then goes back towards their way. And that round is over.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how you commentate that because it's like, you said like 3 words and you can't even adjust, James. You can't, there's no time. Indeed. Everyone's dead.
But what there is time for, once we go back into the game, it's some appreciation for the trees, the plants, the foliage on overpass. I just noticed, Dan, that there's like overhanging plants in T-spawn. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Look at the trees, look at that tree. That tree kind of sucks, let's be honest, but there are much nicer trees around the map of overpass, and I like that. As a fan of trees, look at that overhang, look at that. That is glorious. Disguising the ugly vent, which serves no purpose in this regard. Beautiful stuff.
Well, away from foliage for a moment, and back into UMPs and pistols. Got Dupree with an opening there towards bolts. Obviously the full save is in play for Immortals, so it's not a happy time for them at the moment, it could be said, because Astralis, they're just able to chill with these weapons, make some money, make some bank with the UMPs. And again, Astralis are, one of the teams that are very disciplined. They're very routine and drilled when it comes to playing anti-ecos. So it's rarer that you'll see them sort of put a foot wrong, so to say, and lose too many players in a round like this.
Slowly making their way towards the A site. Interestingly, it's I think compared to some A sites on different maps, I think it's somewhat difficult to throw a Molotovs onto the spots on the site where you would argue they are needed without being completely exposed to a potential quick peek. So in that respect, it's interesting the pushes into the site on the anti-eco. There we have Mr. Glaive on the left and Mr. Henny on the right. Ooh, Lucas.
Got that double AWP, man.
Lucas.
We got that double AWP on the CT side.
I knew it wasn't Henny, I don't know why I said Henny. Anyway, 12-6, double AWPs indeed. Not many grenades, but definitely double AWPs. And Astralis have got the perfect counter, rushing into the B bomb site. What can you do about this, Immortals? They're in there, and they're being forced back to CTs. This is really awkward stuff from them.
I wonder if this is a read, that this would be the buy, and as you mentioned, the perfect response and counter from Astralis. Very smart if that's the case, but otherwise, hell of a retake on the hands of Immortals. However, they've managed to pick off Kirby. They've got a man advantage now, but much more is to be done as they look to gain positioning. Kianji able to help them out there, taking down Dupree, but it's much more to be done from this vantage point. Oh, another fantastic shot there from Kianji as he peers over the top of the balcony with that AWP and Device. He's got so much damage to do here, but he's stuck in the corner by the sandbags, and he is going to be left there.
That was, considering the adjustment we saw him make, that was a really sweet shot from Mr. KNG. Damn, that was nice. But what's not nice for Immortals is a 5-round deficit. There is much work for them to do on their CT side. So we'll see if they're able to do it. Lots of money on the Astralis team. Maybe see.
Ooh, give it to us. Here we go. There's one. Oh, there it is.
Boom.
That's satisfaction right there.
So quick.
And what an important shot as well. And a very precious situation. And it has been said by the members of Immortals that he is an incredibly confident player to play with. So it's good to see that he fears no man. And we see a trade very early on here between the two teams, and a passive response from Immortals. But a very fast response. Astralis just really pushing it straight up towards the A-long area. Oh, Bolts turns away, still gets a kill and a dink. But there's a trade there from Device. This is an insanely fast round.
Another very quick round indeed. Many players have been lost. Steel is miles away. He is miles away from his teammate. He needs a bus ticket to get there in time. Maybe Lucas can hold things down. Bomb's going to get planted. And Astralis will start to wonder, where is Steel? Why hasn't he made an appearance here? And maybe he will make one soon because Glaive is exposed. Down he goes. That leaves Device with the AWP. 2 for him to find. Smokes it down and Steel could replenish that smoke. He's got one in the hole.
Smoke.
And I think he might do exactly that, but Device has got the angle. The flashbang over the wall, though. Device will not be ready for it. Doesn't get the shot. He's being patient, though. It's not time for him either. Going for the wall. Has to get a fast shot. And he won't quite do it. The bomb's been defused, and he'll get taken down as well. Of course, the AWP will be stolen. It's good times for Immortals.
Yeah, that's a massive round to win. An absolutely huge round to win. We'll see if they can continue with such winning tendencies. Oh, we can see the AWP duel there, very nicely done. And I'm curious now whether Immortals will decide to actually try to go aggressive. I mean, it could be a great spot now for Kianji to try to get his AWP in there aggressively. Henny as well, obviously, two AWPers that can really thrive in aggressive scenarios. And they are going to actually play fairly passively at the moment. And Astralis will develop some control quickly towards Connector. And I wonder if Zipex will just, hold that monster, if he'll try to... Oh, we can see some legs! He got tagged in his leg, though. That's actually a great shot there. I think that was from... Henny.
It was from someone. That's
from someone with an AWP. No, it's from Kanji.
Steel's made his way. He pushed Monster and got a pick on Zipex and has gone straight back into the site. So that's the lurker taken down for Astralis. Nice timing from Immortals, but will it help them win the round? That is the question. We see some shortcomings from Astralis. Dupree on the CZ. Not less than ideal for him. Device towards long. Nobody peeking just yet, though. Henny announcing some, letting off some warning shots. I was going to say his position, but there are 2 AWPs on the server. 4 Immortals, KNG towards the B bomb site with Steel in tow. 48 seconds for Astralis to take this back.
And here they go. with the cover of smokes, they will emerge onto the A1 side. They're trying to Henny, absolutely devastating this push. Lucas comes in, denied by Glaive, but Glaive, he's lost too many of his comrades. Oh, that's a very nice fadeaway shot, but 30 seconds to go, and this is a very hard situation to play. Obviously, Immortals, with all the information, they know there's no play back into the B1 side. Oh no! No way! Glaive makes his way in, finds Kianji, completely catches him off guard, and now he must know that the player's coming from the toilet's position. Glaive with it all to do here, with the right reads, going back towards Banket, it's planted for him. And now he's actually in advantage. It's Steel who has all the work to do. He makes his way in for the ace. Can he make it happen? No, it's Steel to clutch it, to save the day for his team, and that would have been an embarrassing situation to lose, but Steel is it all under control, saving his team from being aced by Glaive.
I mean, that was so crazy when KNG was backing up towards long, because Steel was already on the stairs of Connector, so they know he can't go to the B bomb site, but of course he could be in the toilet's position, or he could be in long. KNG backs off to long, and that's almost the round gone. Almost, but not quite. 3 rounds between the two teams. Astralis have taken a tactical timeout. This is 3 rounds in a row for Immortals, and it's 3 diffusers as well, which means that Astralis are getting to a certain point. They're having a certain level of success, but it's not more than that. They're not going further than that. Immortals, again, it's their first time in the major. Finally, overdue.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's actually just whenever, like, for example, Redo was saying the debutants, it's like it's just really weird to think again that it's taken them quite so long to get here, and obviously.
But what better way to start it than baptism by fire, playing the reigning, defending champions, to channel my inner Paul Heyman. 3 rounds between the two teams. The tactical timeout has expired, but the match is still paused, so I don't know if this is technical or what's going on, but to look at what the situation is on Astralis, it is pistol time. The money is less than ideal, but they have the 3-round buffer. But Immortals, you do wonder how far they can go in this particular best of 1.
No stopping us.
I think perhaps a relogin had to happen, or I don't know, but indeed it is technical, and why not stand in front of the camera? I'm going to... I know, I'm going to stand here.
This looks like a good place to stand.
Yeah, look, he's got a white mouse. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Do you have a white mouse?
No, I think it's cool though.
I don't have a white mouse. It. My mouse is black.
Well, I do wonder though if we'll get... Because the interesting thing for me actually is that I was expecting to see more aggression from Immortals, but they've actually been playing their CT side pretty passively, even though they have the double ops, and it's such a great map for op aggression. Obviously, the first team that really showed the true potential of it, I think, would be SK. Absolutely, you know, Fallen, Cold, obviously going aggressive all over the place, really showing how much you can get out of that. And you know, with 2 AWPers like the likes of Kianji and Henny, like 2 AWPers that really thrive playing very aggressively. It's very cool to see that that's not the natural playstyle that they're going with here, and it's been working out for them so far, and they've obviously claimed the last 3 rounds in a row. Although that said, the last 3 rounds in a row have been all defuses, so Astralis have been successful every round getting the bomb down, which of course is great for their money, but also means okay, we can get the bomb down. And so there's probably a lot of rounds where like, okay, we ran this and we got to that post plant situation. If we just hit that, you know, 1 shot here that usually we may hit, that's like a great round. So there's still a lot of, you know, hope and rounds for Astralis to say that works. We can do that one again.
I don't know how you get a tattoo that fine on your neck of all places, because it's not like you have a solid surface to do it against, right? How on earth does that even work? I don't know. It's a mystery to me, but he made it work, that's for sure.
I'm not a tattoo person. I don't have any tattoo. You have a tattoo, right? So. But I hear that, you know, if you get 1, it's like very likely, you know, you're going to get another one and so on. But you stopped after 1, right? Yeah,
I think it maybe depends on the personality or what you want out of them, or if it's like a hobby, or I don't know. But yeah, some people get addicted to the needle, but you know, I suppose it depends on your reason.
Context.
So, yeah. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. All right then. See how long this technical pause goes on for. It's a tight game at the moment. 12 to 9, if you are just joining us. And it seems that we may just be good to go. The pause vote is visible on my screen. Headset's going back on.
And then back off again.
I wore one of those once when I did a helicopter tour of London.
Yeah.
And it really felt like being in a tin can. I was not at my most comfortable, I'll put it that way. But it was interesting.
And the thing for me actually in this game is that I feel Immortals are in a position, obviously, this round is incredibly crucial because they have a full buy, they got the AWP onto Henny at the moment, but they have no money left. So this is, if Astralis are able to somehow win this round, I think Astralis are going for a half buy here. Immortals are in a horrible position. Immortals 100% have to win this round. They have to do so really with surviving with like 4 players. I mean, they can't really lose more than 2 because their economy will start to get so taxed, and the Astralis will just have so many opportunities to break them down with their rounds. And again, because they've been getting so many successful bomb plants, there's a lot of rounds for them to go to where they know that they can get a good advantage to actually get a win here. So I feel like Immortals, they have a lot of potential here, but they're walking I feel like they're walking a tightrope. You know, they're walking the razor's edge.
On a side note, I like that PGL have put surfaces on the table. I mean, obviously the table is a surface in itself, but like, for example, there was a time where I would put a drawing board, or whatever they're called, like an art board, under my mouse pad, so I always had a consistent surface, because I played from more than one location, like I had a computer at work as well, so I had one in both places. And I heard that from someone that wasn't Nothing, that Nothing would do that as well. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, interesting tidbit. Now you see those PGL boards. It's pretty cool. Lots of small detail in player environments that you have to consider.
Yeah, one detail is if you, like me, turn up to groups and your mouse breaks in the first match, that you're gonna have a bad tournament, James.
Yeah,
that happened to me, and I was really depressed because I couldn't replace it. No one else had that mouse, and I was just like, well.
When I first went to a LAN, right, I was obviously just a young idiot pleb, and I used to play. I had this mahogany effect MDF table, right, and I used to play on it with no mouse pad. So when I went to LAN, it was just like I had no idea what was going on. How do I calculate my sense? I didn't know what was going on. It was just a disaster.
You pleb, James.
Yeah.
I can't believe you've done this.
I was reasonable online as well, for my community at least, not maybe in the grander scheme of things. Anyway, 12-9, and we are back into the game. The AWPs, the double AWPs, are still in effect on the CT side. And it is indeed pistol time. Round was restored, so pistols will be bought again for Astralis. They've got some Molotovs, so it seems there is an execute to be had. I would guess the B bomb side down, because I think they would need more smokes than they have bought.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely correct. And you see the Molotovs as well. Like, they're going to buy things for purpose in that respect. You know, Molotov water for barrels, for jungle. Like they have all the Molotovs, or even potentially instead of maybe jungle, maybe the Molotov on the short position first to allow to slow the CTs down and taking sewers. I think you're absolutely right here. So we'll see if that's the case. We've got 3 players going towards the B-bomb side at the moment, so it might not be a really fast one then, but they should very well finish on this B-bomb side. With the Tech 9s as well, it's a very good option. But the CTs are taking sewers aggressively. This creates problems for Astralis because they can't really challenge it effectively.
Yeah, I like how KNG just brazenly opens the door and peeks at the AWP. Perhaps they have a good read on the most Astralis will offer in this round, but the most will start with a Deagle kill. And now KNG is going to get taken down in the rotation. It's a 5 versus 3, and they've picked up an AWP and Kevlar and, an M4. 3 kills now for the Astralis side. What a complete disaster, but Bolts, maybe he can bring it back.
Yeah, tossing an HE in there, just going to whiff, gets the flames in there, also going to not be too useful here. In fact, it actually sort of helps the T's in some respect here as they now get the smoke down. Bolts trying to close the distance quickly here. Going for the smoke, trying to pressure the bomb. M4 comes out, it's not good enough though. It's down to Henny here. He is a quick draw with his AWP. Often uses like a shotgun, goes for the no-scope, misses, and it's going to be the pistols, the Tech 9s that completely catch everyone off guard. And that entry frag from Dupree was pristine. Pristine, James.
I want to see how on earth he found an angle for that. That is a completely insane. And then it was just a disaster after that, man. It was a complete disaster. It's like, well, let's have a look at the shot first.
Whoa, that is pretty godlike. I think he had a slight geometric advantage there, but it's only so minimal. The other guy has an AWP, so it doesn't really matter.
Look what it's done to the economy of Immortals. They've got Mag 7s coming out. It's a force buy. It's force buy territory for them. They were in such a good position, and now their position has been taken away. Once I went fishing, right?
Okay.
And I didn't have any fishing stuff, and I cast my line out, and a swan was flying past, and it closed the line of the swan, and the swan crashed into the bank. That is what I would call a disaster, Dan, and that's how I would compare what we just saw in that previous round.
Is that the first and last time you went fishing?
More or less.
Alright. Astralis 13 rounds now, and in the previous round I sort of said, okay, Immortals have to win this round with 4 players live. As you can see, the result of just losing that round outright, it is not a pretty sight. And Astralis, all they had to do is just run just a regular good anti-force by round, and they should be good to go here.
Steel and Lucas tried to do one boost over Monster, and it just completely ended in failure in the meantime. So it seems that everything good that was happening for Immortals has disappeared like the rabbit in the magician's hat. 46 seconds remain for Astralis. KNG moving through the long area, a common position for anti-ecoing Ts. And Glaive is almost on his 6 just by chance. KNG peaks. That was sure to happen. Kiabi had a great angle. The numbers start to dwindle.
Yeah, and you can see that Astralis, after taking that initial map control, they're taking the forward positions away. They hold. They just hold, they wait for a push, they get it from KNG, and now it's time to go for Astralis. They send the Zipex in for information towards B, and this is kind of funny actually, because ideally he actually catches players there and keeps them from rotating, but in fact actually it's a free bomb site, but there's no time to rotate back there anyway, so it's kind of a funny mistiming as it were. So everything's fine though. Immortals were not able to get to the A bomb site quickly enough to really cause too many issues, or did they? Get a nice frag there from the Steel, but still they got to go for the defuse. There's no kit. The spray down is in play, and that's going to be a wrap. 14-9. Astralis only 2 away now from taking Overpass away. It looks so good for Immortals, but now it's all looking quite grim.
Yeah, it's looking less than ideal, to put it kindly. So now it's just force by town for Immortals from start to finish. Lucas going for the Deagle, as will KNG, or KNG if you prefer, as will Bolts. Henny with the Scout. It is actually officially Hen 1, but he does not mind being called Henny. Obviously in the West we're used to the 1 being an I and so on and so forth, so people just adapt. 14-9, desperate times for Immortals. Astralis can afford this slow approach and prey on the desperation of their opponents. And he's spotted towards long, unable to have the success that Device did so far, that is, with these scouts, when he needed it in the first half. But there's plenty of time to try and get some tags.
And he's one of those AWPers that's like really, really good at... I think NES is very much like this as well, like really good at sort of, if a player goes behind an object, he just somehow just nails he like understands like how fast the model's moving, and he just gets it perfect no matter the distance the player is away. If that was an AWP instead of a scout, I think he actually gets a tag there through the boulder or something, because that was on point there from Henny. But alas, he was on the mere scouts. Doesn't do too much from that range through objects. This is a very tense stuff here for Immortals. Astralis looking to close in onto match point here, and they're once again running an anti-force buy round. They're moving up towards toilets and long as well, and using all their grenades and the utility to make everything safe. And they are soon to the A-bomb sites.
There goes Bolts. Steel and KNG just now rotating from the B-bomb site, and let's see, there's a wall of smoke, 3 smokes long through the A-bomb site, but opportunity is slowly being lost. It's going to be hard for them to stop Astralis from getting... Wait a minute, they've just got themselves 2 kills. It's a 3-on-3 though. They've still got only the Scout and the 2 pistols, and the bombs planted on the other side of the boxes, but their kills continue to rain in. What the hell's going on? Glaive getting tagged, and there's Henny again with the Scout. Henny with 3 kills. Where did that even come from?
The man's good with a scout. He's good with a sniper rifle, James. He is very good with a sniper rifle, and that makes things interesting. Now things just got really interesting. Obviously, like, Immortals were in this like very impossible situation, and because of the way their money was, but now it's bit of spice to this this overpass. All of a sudden, we've got a very good situation on the guns now for Immortals, thanks to that brilliant play from Henny with that scout, and they can stave off the match point for the time being of Astralis, perhaps, or onto Henny. The only issue is that he has no Kevlar and no grenades either yet. Is he going to have the ability to buy some? I think he will, actually. Yeah, he's still got loads of cash, so Henny will be able to get everything. It's a really good opportunity here now for the Immortals side. But again, I do wonder if they'll start mixing things up or if they keep to this passive play. I think it's very hard to interpret what is going to be very successful, and I think the if you take additional risks against Astralis, they are a great team at punishing that. So,
countdown begins following the timeouts. 4 rounds between the two sides. Immortals, I don't know how they escaped that situation. I literally cannot compute, but here they are. And we have another pause. So something is happening. We see a headset being taken off. Now, while these pauses are going on, Henny has an AWP, but he hasn't bought his Kevlar yet, so I hope he remembers. Still needs to buy grenades as well, so not too worried at the moment. Bananas, good for energy. A good source of potassium, that's true. You can look it up if you want to. Thumbs up to bananas. Bananas are good. Device probably has one of the, if not the lowest fat percentage of top tier CSGO players, that's for sure. Very healthy man is Device. So hopefully we'll be back into things soon. Maybe it's the earbuds. Maybe it is the earbuds. Interestingly, a few weeks ago we saw that Stewie used kind of the kind of earbuds in ears you would use if you were in a studio or if you were on a stage, for example. They kind of roll over your ear and have a sponge. I don't know what it's quite called, what the official term is. I'll call it a sponge, which just kind of expands into your ear, so you will hear the game when you really, really need to. So you've got people having a look at what the current situation is. I don't know if it'll be interesting actually to hear the perspective, or maybe of some of the players on the desk, like when there is a pause like this in a tight game, what it can do psychologically, like if it can benefit or hamper or harm one of the teams, especially when there's so much pressure on Immortals to come back into things, or maybe it's a relief to have a pause.
I think it's, I mean, from my personal opinion, I think it really can depend on the players and the people. But I mean, for me, it's like it's like actually a relief, because you get a time to sort of like reground yourself. Because sometimes it's when the pressure's on, like you know, the emotions are charged, and sometimes it can get a bit away from you. But with a bit of a pause, you can just kind of reground yourself, refocus yourself. But then sometimes, you know, even for the same individual, you might just want to play off of that energy that you get. So it's a weird one, isn't it? I'd love to hear that discussed.
Like for me, you know, CS is an escape, and you can immerse yourself in that when you're playing in a competitive environment. You can get lost in it in a good way. So maybe it can take you out of it a little bit, and you might lose focus. Maybe it's true for me. I don't even know. Anyway, Immortals have it all to play for. 3 people starting in the B bomb site for them. Dupree and Kiabi making their way through Connector, and there's nothing to find in that area. Some smokes around the toilet area, and Bolts is behind them, heading towards long. So Immortals covering everything at the moment, which you don't always see on Overpass. Sometimes long is abandoned, sometimes toilets are abandoned. Now Henny will start to back off towards the A site and perhaps provide some support for Bolts. But he'll have 2 jobs to do.
Twice going for a forward play, denied by the smoke. Ooh, might go for a boost here. Yes, indeed, we'll get the boost, but some jumping will be heard. Now, will Bolts just go for some spray here? That would be very smart. Goes for the incendiary instead. That will do the trick. Get rid of the boost. Although no player was at risk of being taken down there, because it was a peek straight into the deep positions on the A bomb site. Device now looking for additional information and potential peeks here onto players here on the A site from long now, and Astralis, with all the poking and prodding so far, have been unsuccessful, and the time is running low. It's 30 seconds left now. They've got to coach for the A bomb site.
They've deployed almost all of their grenades. No flashes left for sure, but they've got mollies, and the molly will work. It will force Henny from his position, but he'll take a play down with him and keep Immortals in a man advantage. No flank coming in. Lucas rotating from B to A. The smokes are down again. It's a 3-on-3. There goes the BP. What does he try and stop? KNG with a great spray. No bomb. Oh, the bomb is planted, in fact. 2-on-2. Lucas coming around Optimus, and there's Device rotating back towards toilets as Steel makes his way towards the bank. Will they go for a fast defuse though? It seems yes. Lucas is on it and still anticipates what is going on. He's got the human shield there as well, and Immortals will be successful. Astralis lose another round, but again, every round this half has been by defuse for Immortals. It's going down to the wire.
That is a lot of diffusers, yeah. And that was a really smart way to handle it from Immortals. Just go for the defuse straight away. You know, some teams, some players will actually, try to actually delay that a little bit, see if they can get some information. Is there going to be a peek? Can they try to peek someone with 2 players? That's something that you might be thinking of, but there was no mistaking the play there from Immortals. They were very decisive, and it's so important to have that level of decisiveness, and it pays off in spades. And Astralis looking to get Dupree into sewers here, slightly deterred by initial use of incendiaries by the CTs. And what havoc can he create with his AWP? There's not too much in the way of players around his position. Oh, got to be careful with that. These top level players, man, they are good at connecting that shot.
It's going to land eventually, that's for sure. Plenty more Counter-Strike to come here at the Krakow Major. If you are making your way here, then we will soon be welcoming you with all kinds of headshots. And he doesn't want to overextend in that position. Oh, more jumping jack, but the hammer will not land where it wants to. 55 seconds, Glaive getting picked off, and that's the bomb spotted outside Monster. Lucas Steel, KNG there, and it seems there'll be a fast rotation from Immortals with the slap left on the pocket indeed. The teams are pushing in, but it's not going their way. It is not going their way. Kiabi left alone for a brief time, but he'll soon join his teammates. 2 rounds. Can Immortals do it then?
I absolutely think they can, yeah. They're doing a great job at the moment. Again, you can see that round, one of the reasons why they want to play passively. They don't want to allow Astralis to get much in the way of picks. And in that situation as well, you sort of force the T's to go for onto the A-bomb site. I mean, they've generally been very successful getting the bomb down. They just can't seem to hold the post-plant situations. So this is a very tight game. This is very hard to predict, but Immortals absolutely looking great to be in with a chance to take down the title holders.
No grenades remain for the T's. Just pistols. Dupree has a deagle. That's a big point. But it's Glaive leading the charge with Zipex behind him, slowly emerging. They can play the numbers game now. Immortals, they've got some grenades though, some high explosives, some Molotovs, and they can use them to flush these players out. Glaive taking a big 80 damage. There's another high explosive being deployed. The numbers don't last long. Now it's Kiabi alone with the deagle, playing an off angle. We'll see if Immortals choose to search for him. Again, he's having it, so Immortals don't need to be terribly concerned. Kiabi won't get any kills either, but the job has been done. They got the bomb down. 1 round now between the 2 sides. Zipex has enough to drop an AWP, but no. They're going 5 AKs the Astralis side.
This is kind of nuts, actually. I don't know about Astralis's. I feel like their chances are dwindling a lot here. Obviously, they still have opportunity to get back into this one, but we can see there's a lot of momentum on Immortals. They are really powered up at the moment. Astralis, what are they going to do differently now to try to throw off Immortals' CT side? We're going to get an aggressive play, actually, or an opening that's aggressive from Immortals. They haven't been often going with that. KNG going all the way to the fountain. And this is really interesting. Again, in the past rounds, they put so much presence towards this early on that this is an open territory for them.
Yeah, but look at Astralis. They've gone immediately towards the B bomb site, but it's not a rush. They're slowly taking control of the B area, looking for an entry maybe on a jumping player. Steel's alone. He's been alone on B this entire time. And now the rotation is starting to come in from the CTs and the flank, but they'll hear that rotation from Bolts, and that might spur them on to charge into the site. They've picked good timing. The CTs have repositioned for the retake. They've gone off the site. Steel was isolated, and they're not going to give them that free kill. But there's KNG coming in from the back. 1 kill for him. The T's have moved into CT positions, and KNG is having free reign on the site. Steel for support. Running out of bullets down to the Deagle, but it's Device. What perfect timing. How this has worked out for Immortals is unbelievable. Device can do nothing about this. He has to sit outside Monster and bear witness to the score being tied by Immortals.
This is such a smart play, just because also, like, from a level of a default perhaps, Astralis may not put many players towards the the fast position towards the playground. So it's such a great gamble to take from Immortals. It's so smart, and again it just shows you that even when you're in this situation where your back is against the wall for both teams, and if you make one error, one bad guess, everything could come tumbling down, but to still have the confidence to take good risks, that's a great sign there, and that was a great risk from Immortals. Paid off massively with that push. And Astralis now, all AKs, decent amount of grenades. We've seen this before. Zipex going for that play, getting tagged again by Kianji. That's twice that's happened there. Doesn't work out for him, but Astralis now looking towards a passive, or rather a slow map control play towards the A side of the map. Bolts is ready though.
Bolts is in a high-risk situation, and it's going to pay off in absolute spades for him. But he can't really leave this position. He gets 2 kills for it, though. That's massive damage done. They could be at match point soon. There's time, though, for Astralis. But what there isn't is personnel. There's a 2-man flank. Oh my god. The T's are moving through connector, and the Immortals are not going to get into position in time, which means that B is going to be completely managed. They're moving backwards, they're making noise, and Lucas is there, almost with a 2-man spray down. This is turning into complete madness. Astralis, they have to run towards B. They have no choice, whether it's a trap or not. KNG slowly rotating, so opportunity knocks. KNG could get taken down here with AWP, but no, of course not. Why would he do that? Device looking away just in time. Oh my god, what a collapse. It's like they're in a black hole, everything is imploding around them. It's Device going to 1 versus 4. He needs to get the bomb down, but the flank is there from Lucas. He gets that kill at least, and now there's a chance. The bullets raining through the planks of wood, and he's not going to get the bomb planted. Disaster has struck for Astralis. Absolute disaster.
And you can feel it that for Immortals right now, victory is truly at their fingertips. Double up here for them. They have had so much success on the CT side. They've had so many correct reads on how they should play their aggression. These countless flanks that they've been picking up. I shouldn't say countless. This has been, I suppose, we can count them quite easily. Like
just move on.
Yeah, we can see that it's been so important. And Astralis now, they're in a spot where I wonder if they've been getting into their own heads a little bit, because where do you turn? If every move that you make, your opponent's making the correct counterplay, like in the way in which they are, and Astralis also haven't been able to really take map control in either a fast manner, or a manner which gets them frags, or a manner which even allows them to get good damage onto their opponents. So again, we saw Zipex like multiple times getting tagged in the legs when he goes for the pressure towards Monster, and generally it's been a bit of a struggle. So it's really interesting to see how Astralis are going to try to work their way back into this. They must win this round to get that overtime.
Immortals on the cusp of something great, but it's never over until it's over. And Astralis had enough money to buy. One of their players had $7,900. Most were on around 4K. We see the shortcomings in Glaive's UMP. Astralis playing the numbers game in connector, and Zipex, I think, might have flashed for them unless they did it through the window. Either way, Kiabi's going to get an opening kill onto KNG. Steel and Lucas are on the B bomb sites, but Bolts and Henny are very far away with positions on long, so if a rotation is required, Astralis are going to have a lot of time to capitalize on a 4 versus 2 on the B bomb site.
Exiting through Monster, Steel sliding up the ramp there, and that's going to be a great opening. Gets himself number 2. Trades all abound though. Will leave a 2 versus 3 situation in favor of Astralis actually. They have a great situation close plant. And there's a flank coming as well from Device there through A. He's going to take his time about it. Doesn't have to do too much here. Henny, oh, he whiffed the shot. And there you go. Overtime on Overpass here, Astralis. Oh, they can breathe a huge sigh of relief there to get to overtime. And overtime is so fantastic for them. It's the big reset button.
Immortals so close. But Astralis say not quite. And that 2K on the B bomb site was massive in that round, but they still don't make it there. Not yet. So we've seen some tournaments recently which have had 3 rounds a half in overtime and $16,000. That is not the norm. That is, at this point, I would say an experiment which hasn't been favorable. It is, a lot of people haven't quite liked it, but we are at the major, so it will be the standard $10,000 starting money, 3 rounds per half, also referred to as MR3. MR5 being 5 rounds a half, but I don't know that anyone runs that at the moment. So indeed it's MR3 10K, not the 16K you've seen elsewhere.
I like it. Gives you more sort of accountability to your economic choices. As if you do lose the first 2 rounds, and you do invest quite a lot in those first 2 rounds,
as Immortals have,
you don't have any money on the 3rd round, and so you're kind of on a weird UMP pistol buy.
Yeah, and we see the double AWPs from Immortals. Double AWPs from a CT side on the first round of overtime, I would say, is an all-in play, because it almost always decimates your economy in round 3 if you lose by elimination. You know, round 2 can differ, but a lot of the time things will suck on round 3. But they don't suck right now, not for Immortals. Henny starting as he means to go on.
Tumultuous here, we get another frag there coming out of Monster. Steel just going straight forward for that one, leaving this into a 3 versus 2. A nice, that's a very cheeky aggression there from Steel, sorry, rather a 4 versus 2, not a 3 versus 2, a 4 versus 2. That's a fantastic situation to be in for Immortals. They can play, you know, 2 bomb site, they can try to stack more towards the harder side to retake, which is A, which is what they might consider doing. Also, I think Steel has put himself in a position where he can very easily hear any footsteps towards the A side of the map, towards toilets in particular, and we'll see Astralis looking for the wrap hit onto the A site. 30 seconds to go. This is going to be really tough though, there's AWPs to deal with. And there's one.
Shadow. Yes. That is, just makes life even worse for him. He's exposed and he doesn't even know it. There's a photographer in the bushes and he's got all the info. 16 to 15, Immortals take the first round. A much needed first round when you're all in, as we previously mentioned. Astralis back on the buy, Device on the AWP, and the money indeed starts to dwindle for the T side. So this becomes even more important for them. The pressure is increased, it's compounded, it's multiplied. Standard setup from the Ts. The CTs though looking for aggression. Bolts making his way into connector. Henny around the toilet in a forward position. He can offer some support, but Bolts is forced backwards. All the grenades, maybe some warning for the CT side, but look at Henny's position, and would you have it any other way? Hyper aggressive sniper. He's in no man's land. He's almost completely on his own. KNG is coming in for some support moving forward, but he's flashed off in the meantime. And now Henny's trapped behind the smoke. Fortunately for him, nobody's towards long, but the CTs don't know that. So Bolts is forced to come up long to try and support Henny in case he needs it. This is getting awkward for Immortals.
They still do have Henny in a close position. He's one of the AWPers in this world that is going to be able to deliver greatness from a position like this. But will it be this time? Oh, that is so fast from Glaive. The IGL of Astralis really making his mark on this game. Top fragging, I believe, quite effectively, quite ahead of the pack there with 29 at the moment.
There was a big problem though for Henny in that he knows he couldn't scope because it would give his position away. Speaking of which, Device has been taken down and Bolts come back off, but that's why it was so awkward for Henny. He can't even, if he scopes, I think he gets a kill there, but he can't scope because he knows people are around the corner and it compromises his position yet more. So just a really awkward situation for Henny, but the rounds continue. 27 seconds left and Astralis not committing to anything just yet. The bomb's going towards A despite the kill towards B, and indeed the full rotation is there, but Lucas is pushed straight through Monster. Will the CGs rotate in time?
Bolts, oh, he goes to the peak. Very fast entry there from a Dupree, the man to make it happen. And he's going to make the bomb happen as well. That's a great kill there, straight through the container. Kenji looking for another one. As he pulls out the AWP once again. The quick draw, not quick enough for Mr. Dupree there, as we'll see Lucas on 5 HP. And with that amount of health, he's probably not feeling all too confident about his chances in this one. But he'll give it a go. But it will be Dupree with an excellent round there. 3 kills, entry frags, defensive frags. Dupree with a great round indeed. 16 to 16 now as the team's tied up.
I do, it was, I don't know what to think of Henny's positioning in that round. Because yes, he is an aggressive AWPer, but that was very, very isolated, it turned out, and very awkward. But we'll see. They still have double AWP, so at least monetary-wise it hasn't hurt them too much, thanks to the success of the first round. So risks were taken. They didn't pay off in that respect. Kjabi and Dupree moving through connector. So this time Bolts has got some company. And he's on his own with the M4, not the AK. Oh, the timing! Oh my god!
I actually could see on his camera, he was looking at the radar right then when that happens as well. So it's, yeah, that definitely hurts. That hurts. Can talk about that in a moment as we have Henny once again backing away. Oh, Steel at it again, so cheeky with these shenanigans on these monster pushes, and he's got the bomb. That is just massive.
Oh, Lucas somehow got a grenade kill on Kjabi coming out of connector into short B. Dupree's there as well, and Lucas is not covering Steel's flank because he's got to cover short B. So Dupree, Steel turns around just in time. What a perfect 180. A pirouette perhaps. Device alone in a 1 versus 4. This is a pretty tense game at the moment. Can't expect him to get much done in that situation. Immortals are to take the lead into the second half. This is pretty crazy, Dan.
Yeah, Astralis really struggling, it seems. Like, it really looks like Immortals are... I mean, of course they only have 1 round in advantage, but it does feel like they're the more confident team right now. They're the team that are faltering less. They're the team that are willing to take some great risks here. Again, one of those pushes from Steel, picking up those kills. He's done so pretty effectively so far. I think his success rate is very high with that push. He gets good timings on it. And also, you know, to that point as well, a lot of that does come down to your awareness as to what's happening in the round, what you think is most likely based on what has happened, where your teammates are. It's all these little bits of information that can help you inform you as to like what play you think is going to be the most optimal. And that goes to these the players having to check the minimap every now and again. You got to see, where are all my teammates right now? Where was that action that I just heard across the map? You know, all these sorts of things. So awareness, very crucial.
Device up to his usual tricks, but I think Immortals will be prepared by now. I'm not going to give him much of anything. And again, we have now Immortals going for the numbers game towards the connector area, but they don't have anybody around the balloon position. They don't have anybody in short B. Although Henny is starting to make some moves around the upper area. Because I think ideally you want some support from around there when it's a complete unknown, all these areas. Device firing off a shot and he will back off towards the site. So Astralis playing deep. Don't want to get caught out in isolation. Immortals just playing the 1 AWP on the T side, which is good to see because they have in the past gone to 2, which again I do think is questionable to say the least on the T side in most situations. 3 players for Astralis still in the B bomb site, but Zipex is starting